Hello, hello again. Welcome back to my channel, Romel, Private Investigator. I'm Romel, and my company is Access Diversified Investigations. So, what am I going to talk about today? I did have a subscriber reach out to me regarding dating, the dating scene. So, what do we have to say about the dating scene? Complicated? Complicated. But there is help, especially with social media and other access with respect to the internet. So what do we look at when we talk about dating? For some of us, we want to have some fun. We want to try something new, something different. There are all types of dating sites that certainly will fall into that opportunity. We look at, cultural dating sites, religious dating sites, ethnic dating sites, elderly dating sites. The list goes on and on and on. Everybody wants someone to snuggle up to at one time or another. Some of what we have associated with the dating sites and various relationships are, things that happen. We've heard the names before, at least many of us. Gaslighting, ghosting, catfishing, all of these different terms. They're, at the end of the day, it's philosophical in one respect. People gaslighting you, manipulating your mindset, having you think that, listen, what some people do, they create a little argument. They know what they're arguing about is not so, just to break up. And of course, whether it be the guy or the young lady, they feel like somehow they've done something. Clearly, they didn't do it. Just a means of trying to get out of the relationship for whatever reason that might be. And of course, you look at the catfishing. He don't look as good as he really looks, does he? This happens with the women too. People misrepresent who they are. Height, complexions, features. Guy's bald-headed. He puts a picture up with a head full of hair. Claims he lives in, Arizona, and the person's right there in New York City. It just goes on and on. Of course, you look at the ghosting. Hey, where did he go? Where did she go? People get into a little something. I'm gonna see what this person is like, what that person's like, establish some degree of a relationship, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, gone. What happened? Where did they go? Well, you got ghosted. Now, with that being said, or having been said, as an interested party, you're looking at different sites which provide a great degree of different information depending on which platform you're on. And so you may have some address information, some age information, things of that sort. And of course, the person looks like someone you're interested in. So what you may want to do is sort of follow up some of that information before actually having the date, if in fact you feel that interested. Obviously, you'll communicate for a period of time before you meet up, I would gather. To each his own. But in any event, some of the things you want to know are certainly going to go beyond the information that you have in front of you. And so when you're speaking with a person, they may suggest things that make you feel that somehow they may be somewhat affluent or at least fairly well off. That can be luring at times. Catfishing. Just putting it out there. Of course, you want to be concerned about criminal records, person may have multiple addresses. I mean, this is something you may find out later, and that could be a concern. Um, it may suggest to some degree that the person is somewhat, is not very stable in their living situation, which could raise a red flag, and maybe not. Like I say, to each his own. You also have, sometimes family information, whether they have, at least in terms of brothers and sisters, whether they have a large family, whether there's an indication that the mother and father are together. These are things that you may have some concern with. So, of course, this is where a private investigator would come into play. But, hey, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt because I'm going to give you some information, some resources that you can use, that you can access through the internet that will be a considerable aid in your process regarding how far you may want to go in a relationship. Now, keep in mind, no investigation is going to give you everything you need to know about a person. And certainly because a person's been in jail does not necessarily mean that, let's say they haven't learned a lesson. We'll just put it that way to be diplomatic. But again, these are concerns. Better to know ahead of time than to get deeply involved with someone and all of a sudden the roof just caves in and everything just goes haywire. It's a very devastating thing in relationships. People have been known to take their lives, suicide, behind situations like that. So hang in there, hang in there. I got some good stuff coming from you. I'm sure it'll be helpful in your process. But again, dating. Relationships nowadays, whole different ball game. Not like back in the old days, you run into somebody in church or on the basketball court, etc. So now a lot of things are just on the internet. Very, very challenging. It's nice, it's cool, but very challenging. Hang loose. Some of you may have somewhat of a short, you want a quick fix. And so sometimes what happens with these videos, people don't go through the entire video. This is not going to be a long video. I'm nearing the end at this point. Nearing the end, not quite there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the information. You will get an opportunity to get more detailed information as you go into these websites. And what I'm going to do is extend those websites to you in the description area. So one of the concerns you may have is, sex offender registry. That kind of makes a little bit of sense, does it not? And so this is an area where you may look to find out some information that may or hopefully may not be associated with the person that you're seeing on your dating site. Also, in the federal system, there's something that's called PACER, the acronym being Public Access to Court Electronic Records. So this is where you can find out information about a person that may have been through the federal government, prior case, pending case, that sort of thing, other things related to the case. It's a great volume of information. So it takes a little time. You will have to sign up for the process. The costs are very minimal costs. And the information can be very helpful to you. You also have in the federal system the Bureau of Prisons, acronym BOP. And in those situations, what you're able to do is you go onto that site, you can use a person's name. They do ask for an age, they ask for the race. Let's see what else is there. The name, the race, of course, whether it's a male or female. You can plug the name in. You don't always need an age. They ask for age, but You can oftentimes find information without the age. When the information comes up, you'll see a registration number. You can use that number for additional reviews. And I would think perhaps that may also show up somewhere in Pacer as well. So this is something that can be helpful. Certainly you can ask the person about it, and if they're serious about being with you, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to address it. It is public information. Okay. Now, in the state of New York, you have the New York State Courts, and that's another site that I'll get to you. And you can see cases that are actually pending throughout the counties within the state of New York. Now, if you're in another state, I'm sure they have something similar. You'll just have to do a little research, and basically what you're going to look at would be the court system in the state that you're in, and in particular, some degree of filing, some measure of court filings with respect to pending cases, and you should pretty much be able to navigate through that, and that too will be helpful. You have to ask the questions. You have to ask the questions. Okay. Also within the state of New York, you have the New York State Correction and Community Supervision, another website, and these are persons. It's an inmate lookup process. These are persons within the correctional system. Some having prior having been in the system prior, and you could see when they got released, and you'll get some information with respect to the type of offense that they were convicted of. You have the New York City Department of Corrections inmate lookup system, people who may have pending matters in the New York City system at one of the city jails, Rikers, or what have you. And I'm sure you have something very much similar in whatever state you may live in. So, of course, there are also general database sites. There are actually quite a few out there, and most of them require some degree of compensation. I'm going to give you a site. I'm trying to remember the name. I think it's Black Book Online. Black Book Online. It'll be in the description area as well. And so you have a myriad of opportunities on that site. One of the significant things about that site is where you find people, and some of the information does require a nominal fee. But where you find people, what generally happens is you will get a series of addresses associated with the person. You may even have some email information associated with the person. So the significance about the address information is if you see that virtually almost every year this person's in another location, that can be a bit concerning. It may suggest that that person is not as stable as as you may prefer. And you may want to ask, why do you move around so much? Maybe they were going to school in one area and living in another area. Any number of possibilities, but certainly something that you may be concerned with. Of course, in these lookups, a lot of times you'll find other persons either living at the same address or just associated with the individual. And so if you look at the last name, sometimes you can put two and two together and you get a sense, not a full sense, but you get at the very least a marginal sense of what type of immediate family they may have. And that could be a concern. In some of them, they actually have the different age levels. So this can be a very helpful thing. Now, last but not least, and I may have covered it earlier, clearly, the social media, the Instagrams and the Facebooks, TikTok, and all of that sort of thing. You guys, most of you pretty much know that stuff. This is the other stuff that can be even more helpful once you kind of ran through your little array of photos and, oh, I like this one here. let me check him out, let me check her out. That having been said, take a look at some of the other videos I have, and thanks for holding in there. And before you leave, remember this: walk with it, cherish it, dream with purpose, act with intent. Take care and be well. Thanks for watching, and for more informative videos, remember to subscribe, click the notification bell, share with friends, and as I always say, dream with purpose, act with intent.